Hola clase. I've been grading your oral presentations for midterm. For the most part, I was very happy. Some of you lost points, and so I want to spend a little bit of time right now going over those things that made you lose points so that it doesn't happen again. I want to make sure that everybody gets 100 on the final. I'm dying to give everybody hundreds. I don't want to take off points for anything. And you can all do it. There's nobody that can't get 100 on this because the goal of this is to communicate. You don't have to use perfect grammar. Don't have to have perfect pronunciation, but you do have to communicate. If communication breaks down, if I can't understand what you're saying, or if the pronunciation errors are so distracting that I lose focus on what you're saying, then that breaks down communication. Then you lose points, and those are very easy things to fix. So I'm going to give you three pieces of advice right now. First off. As I said in the tip video, and as I said in the instructions very, very clearly, do not look things up. Sorry, my screensaver just keeps going off after like 30 seconds, so I need to move my cursor around. Don't look things up. Don't look them up. If it's not in chapters 1 through 3 for the midterm, if it's not in 1 through 5 in the final oral presentation, don't do it. Because what happens is you're using Spanish that you haven't learned, and so your Spanish is going to get worse when you're using things you haven't practiced and learned. And then also, I can't evaluate what you know. If you're not using the material that I've taught you or that you've learned through the VHL, then I can't evaluate what you know. So I understand some of you want to put your profession there. For example, you want to say that you're a nurse and that's not in the book. I get that. A word here and there, I get it. But when you're looking up old grammar points, you're trying to speak in future tense, you use the past perfect, you use all this very fancy grammar that we haven't learned yet, it doesn't help you, it doesn't help me. So that's extremely prohibited. If I even hear one thing there that you've looked up in Google, and I can tell, then I'm going to take off major points. So that's your first fatal error right there. Stick to what you know. Keep it really, really simple, really, really easy. You don't have to look things up. You know how to say, if I'm asking you those questions, I've given you instructions on what to put in there, then it's very, very, very simple and you can do it. So there's no need to looking things up. I consider it cheating, so please don't do that. The next thing is that I gave you, I'm not expecting perfect pronunciation. Most of you sound a little bit gringo. That's okay, because you can still communicate that way. But I told you to look at 4 letters that I really want you to focus on. It's the ñ, the Z, the ella, and the h, the H. H is silent. I don't want to hear no hee-ho. There's no hee-hos in this Spanish class. And no hee-has. No hermanos. Okay, the H is silent. Z in Spanish sounds like S. There's no Z sound in Spanish. So, for example, the word 0 in Spanish is cero. Okay? Then there's a double L. Double L in Spanish is not la, it's ya, like in English, Y. So what's the animal called? It's not a llama, it's a llama. Okay, so that's me llamo. Very important, that. And then the last one is the, what was the last letter I was going to point out? Oh, the ñ. Ñ is not the same as N. So it has that little squiggly mark over it. It's an ñ. You don't want to say, when you say tengo 30 años, it means I have 30 anuses. You don't want to say that. Ano is anus. Año is year. So that's very important. If you're struggling with these, go back to the sounds in chapter 1. That page that has the alphabet on it with all the sounds. Go through all those sounds and focus on them and work on those, because you don't want to get used to saying something wrong, right? Then it's like learning to swim wrong. Once you learn how to swim wrong, you know it's really hard to correct. So you want to learn it right from the beginning. This is a good time to fix any errors that you've got there. The third thing, and I did take off points for this time, but for the final, I'm not going to even listen to any presentations that are on that are not embedded. And you got to understand, I have like 100 of these to listen to, and whereas for you it might be easier for you to think, oh, teacher can just cut and paste. It really takes me a long time. I have to go out of Falconon into another window, and then I have to go back and forth. It takes a long time to do that, and then every time when you're finished, then it starts some other YouTube presentation, and it makes a lot of noise. It's just a mess. I've given you instructions on there. If it doesn't work, then please call the help desk at Daytona State College. They're very helpful and they can walk you through it. But like I said, I'm not going to accept any more of those presentations for the final that are not embedded, okay? You guys are doing great. I'm proud of you. You know, if you got a low score, like I said, no problem at all. You can fix it and you can get 100 on the next one, and that's going to make us all happy, okay? So, muchas gracias and happy Halloween, and I'll talk to you again later. Bye-bye.